trick update from today. First of all, we're going to talk about Tanguy Ndombele and Giovanni Lo Celso. And he says, despite Ndombele's comments about potentially finding a way to be happy at Spurs, he is not in Antonio Conte's plans for the season ahead. Neither is Giovanni Lo Celso, and Conte is prepared to be ruthless in leaving unwanted players out for the travelling party for Korea. We're going to hear about the squad in the coming days, I'm guessing, for that who's going out to Korea.
I think they said on the day. He's going to decide on the day.
Oh, is it on the day
before or something? Yeah.
Okay, but I fully actually expect these two not to be on that plane.
Yeah, it makes sense to me. I think we want them gone. Doesn't sound like Conte's interested in having them part of the plans, and I think it probably just hinders things if we want to get rid of them. It just hinders the progress of getting them out the door, and we need to get the money in, and we need to progress it as soon as possible. So I don't know. I don't see. It'd be interesting to see if they are part of it, what that means, but I think it's unlikely they will be. That makes sense for everyone. I think Conte's made up his mind on them too.
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a shame, isn't it? Because that summer that we signed them came with big reputations, and we thought we had some gems on our hands. And in terms of quality of being an actual footballer, they are up there. But it's just a shame. I don't know what happened with Lo Celso, but the Ndombele situation was obviously the attitude that didn't sit right with anyone at the club. And how many managers are going to come in and try and get to grips with these guys?
Yeah, exactly. Lo Celso, though, he seemed like someone who had, in his international performances and a lot of the time in the early days of Tottenham, he had a good attitude and he was working hard, making tackles, and he showed quality going forward as well. But for some reason or another, it didn't. Again, I think injuries played a big part. I think, again, the timing of his transfer coming to Tottenham played a big part. And then I think he lost confidence, and I think his attitude did turn as well at some point when he was really struggling to get in the team. His attitude as well took a hit for that, and I think that I think it was probably at its worst when Conte was here. So that's probably why Conte doesn't seem very interested in him. So I think they are two talented players, and I think they could be successes somewhere. I think even under different circumstances they could have been successes here, but I think right now it's not going to work.
Just before we go on, I'm seeing a lot of people talking about the lag in the comments and stuff like that. If it is too bad to handle, you can kind of go back 10 seconds and you'll be watching without interruption. You could also try watching on a bit less quality as well if you click the cog on your YouTube screen. And if you watch in a bit less quality, then the lag might not be so prevalent. I mean, we can go offline if you guys want and try and fix it, but I think that it's probably best just to keep going. What do you guys think in the comments? What do you think, Sam?
I don't know. It's annoying me, though, that it's lagging. I don't know what to do about it because unless we want to restart the internet, it's just frustrating that it's been lagging all stream, apparently. I don't know why. I don't know why we have these problems. Maybe
But in terms of the news, we are coming to an end of it, so there's not much left to go of the transfer news that we have. So if you want to just rewind just 10 seconds, you'll be able to watch it without any interruptions. We've got a super chat here from I Hate Arsenal saying, your show is what I start my day with, always looking for a new update. Great work, boys. Conte is building a fortress and we should all be super excited. I completely agree. And when you look at the players that are coming in, they're all of a similar profile. Big players, strong players, physical players, quick players as well. I mean, all in the mold of what Antonio Conte likes to look for in a footballer.
And in terms of stats as well, like how they stack up in that sense physically, they all seem to be definitely targeted players who we believe can fit a role that we need. And if we wanted more goals and assists from wing backs, we got Perisic. We wanted more or stronger central midfield, we got Basuma. We wanted a versatile striker, we got Richarlison. I think it's all very calculated and it's very positive, and we're going to be very difficult to play against next season. Even if there are going to be games, I'm sure, where we're going to struggle to create and we're going to need a bit of magic and stuff like that, and we're going to get frustrated. But for sure, no one's going to like to play us next season. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, I mean, under Pochettino, we were probably one of the most liked teams in the league. I got a feeling this year we were going to be one of the most hated teams in the league.
Yeah, definitely.
And I love that. I absolutely love that.
100%. Bunch of bastards. That's
exactly what Jose Mourinho was trying to get us to be, but he wasn't successful at that. Let's move on. Let's talk about Bryan Gil now. Dan Kilpatrick says Bryan Gil is expected to be given a chance to impress Conte in Asia, despite the head coach's reservations about his suitability for the Premier League. What do you make out of that? Do you think that he can win Antonio over? Or do you reckon maybe just physically he's still not ready there?
Who knows? I mean, I would say it's unlikely, to be honest, because I think that even though it was a weird one, because even though, because I remember Bryan Gil, even under Conte, like he had some cameos. I remember like he came on against Chelsea and he like played really well and he was like creating stuff, but Conte still wasn't sure about him. So, to be honest, like, if he was still part of the squad, he could be another forward option. That would be quite good to have, just to be available. Another option in the forward line if he could convince Conte. So that would be really positive. But when I've seen him, I still don't think he's ready for Premier League football just yet. It doesn't seem to me that physically he's up to it. He gets too easily brushed off the ball and things like that. I think that he needs to bulk himself up a bit. He just needs to get a bit more muscle. And maybe he could do that. Or maybe he's been doing that over the last 6 months. And if he has been doing that, then maybe there is a case. Because I do think technically, quality-wise, clearly he's talented and clearly he's got the attributes to have a very successful football career. But right now at Spurs, I do think it's difficult for him. And as well, if he does stay, he's probably going to be staying and being sixth choice. And he has to be happy with that rather than being maybe getting game time out on loan somewhere. So he has to be at peace with that as well, fighting for game minutes. And we have to be thinking he's going to be, when he is going to be called upon, he's going to be ready to step in. So it's a big ask. But if we do decide that he is, I'll be delighted, because I think not having another option in the forward line would be fantastic for us.
I agree. But, I think if he isn't physically ready yet, I think I would like to see him go on a loan to an English club to see him get consistent minutes at maybe lower end of the Premier League or in the Championship even, so he can get to grips with the kind of physicalities and the needs of the English football and the English game. Which moves us on to Pape Matar Sarr, as Dan KP says that Conte is set to decide whether to keep Sarr in the first team squad or to send the new signing on loan to an English club. And I think it's a bit of a similar one to Bryan Gil, to be honest. I mean, when I've seen him, when I look at him physically, he doesn't look really physically ready for the Premier League either, and especially in a role that he's going to be playing within the squad, a defensive midfielder, box-to-box midfielder. You need to have those physical attributes, especially if you're going to survive in the Premier League. So I got a feeling that this one as well, probably he's going to need another loan move.
Yeah, but we haven't seen him against English sides yet. It's a bit different. At least Gil, we know it's tried and tested. Again, if with Sarr, we don't quite know yet. Like you can say the same with Conte. You look at Conte, you don't think he's the most physically imposing. Yeah, look how well he does. So, I think the Pape Matar Sarr, I think we'll just have to wait and see how he does over pre-season, and then make a call over it, because I don't think there's any point. At least with Gil, there's a bit of prejudgment because you've seen him in the Premier League, but Sarr we haven't yet. So we'll have to wait and see. But again, it'd be fantastic if he stayed, because it gives us another option there. And maybe if he's staying, it means we really believe that this guy could be a fantastic player for us. Because I don't think you keep a 19-year-old around unless you really believe in him. But then again, a loan deal could also do in the world of good, and you can come back with all those games under his belt, so that could probably be the best for everyone. But I'm quietly excited about Pape Matar Sarr, despite the fact that he didn't maybe get the starts that we hoped are.
Who wants an ice cream, people? Who wants an ice cream?
Despite the fact that maybe it was a bit of a downer that he wasn't as a certain starter last season as maybe you would have hoped. You got to remember, he is a teenager. Young players always go through good periods and bad periods, but the main thing is their talent and their quality, and you should believe that they can turn that talent into consistent performances. And if he stays here, it must mean we believe he can. So I'm excited to see him in pre-season, to be honest.
All right, so that's Pape Matar Sarr. Next up, Dane Scarlett and Alfie Devine. Ali Gold says that Scarlett and Devine could be given extra time off after their England under-19 Euro win rather than flying out to Korea with the Spurs squad, which is a shame, actually, because I was looking forward to seeing them play, especially, both of them. I was really looking forward to seeing them play out in Korea in the pre-season friendlies. I mean, when you cast your mind back to last pre-season, that was what I was most excited about, is seeing the Dane Scarletts and the Alfie Devines and stuff like that. And it'll be a big shame, won't it, not to see them. But again, it will be a great plus to see someone like Pape Matar Sarr in deeper context.
Yeah, look, I think they deserve it. They've just had an international tournament, which they've won. So probably best for them to have a bit of time off and not push them too hard. You know, it wasn't that long. How was a few days ago, the final?
It was last weekend, yeah.
Last weekend. So I think it's probably right. They're very young. You don't want to put too much pressure on them.
Yeah.
So as much as it would be nice to see them, I think it's probably the right call.
All right, well, that is all the news. Well, actually, there's actually been something that's just come up a second ago from David Ornstein. And he says Tottenham are keen on Anthony Gordon, but Everton have no intention to sell. And that's from David Ornstein. So usually when something comes from him, it is pretty much spot on. So he's saying Spurs are keen.
He says they're going to offer him a new deal as well.
Do you see him accepting that? Or do you see him... I can't really see him pushing for a move out of Everton.
He's an Everton lad. He's 21 years of age. He's probably in no rush to leave right now. So I don't see Gordon leaving this summer. I think they've already let go of Richarlison for 60 million. I think that was a big deal for them. And I think because he's an Everton lad, the board will come and get under so much pressure for selling him, rather than a different kind of player who doesn't maybe have the same connection to the fan base. So I just can't see it. I think he'll just be a step too far for the fans and for Everton to do that. So I fully expect him to, unless they get a really ridiculous offer, I really expect him to be staying at Everton.
Agreed.